Welcome to MCC Live to You. My name is Berwick Augustin, and I am your creative writer facilitator for today. And so I am excited to be able to be here and to facilitate this creative writing workshop with you guys. We're going on a 4-week journey where we're going to be talking about creative writing and writing poetry. Yes, poetry. You and I are going to write poetry because you are a poet, right? If you can breathe, if you got feelings, thoughts, and emotions, you are a poet. The only difference between you and I is I'm writing it down and you haven't, which is why this recording in this series is going to be very interactive, where we are going to write poetry together. We're going to create poetry together. And I am going to provide you with some tools that are going to be useful to help you polish the work that you already have inside of you. So this is part 1 of a 4-part series. And this first part is the brainstorm process, right? And so we're going to be brainstorming on how to write a poem, because I know a lot of times the first thing that comes to mind is a lot of people feel like, you know what, I don't know how to start a poem, or I don't know what to write about. And actually you do, because out of the million things that happen to you on a daily basis and so many things that are going on in the media all around us all day, every day, we have plenty of topics to write about. And so today we're just going to choose one. Well, for these next 4 weeks, and it is going to be about this pandemic that we are all going through, this COVID-19 pandemic. And by the way, there's so many different ways that you can start to write a poem. Right? For some people, as soon as it comes to mind, they can just write it. Right? For others, they have to outline it. Right? And so today we're going to be doing what I call a brain dump. Right? Where we're just going to brainstorm and just put certain ideas on paper. After that, we're going to take all of those ideas and start to flesh them out into a poem. Okay. Now, this is not the only way that you can do it. This is just the way that we're going to use today. Right. And so, but at the end of the day, what's most important is that you just need to write. However your system or your process is, just write. That is the only way that you're going to get better at it. Okay. All right. So before we get started, I want to just provide you with a short little video just so that you can see the different creative things, especially if you have little kids in the house and they just want to do something very creative, very simple. Maybe it's somebody's birthday coming up and they just want to write them, instead of going to go and buy a card, they want to create a little simple booklet of poems just to say, express how they feel. So I'm going to show you this video. I always like to show videos and visuals because they're powerful and different people learn different ways. And so I am going to play this real quick before we get started on our brainstorm session. All right, here we go. Hopefully this journey will be the beginning of probably you publishing your first poetry book. Who knows? All right. So I'm just happy to be on this journey with you, and let's get started with our brainstorm session. All right. So we're ready to go. So I am going to be using this particular format, right? And you can use whatever you are most comfortable with. Okay. This is what I want to use. You can use something totally different, but the idea is to organize your thoughts, right? But everyone is just agree that we're going to be writing about COVID-19. here is our main topic, right? And so I have four boxes here, four main things that for me that comes to mind when I think about COVID-19, right? So the first one is, since March, we have all been quarantined, right? So let's say I put that there. A second thing for me could be social injustice, right? Because that is something that has affected me a lot, and that is something that I'm pretty sure has been a big deal for a lot of you as well, right? So another element, a third element for me could be family, right? Because that's extremely big for me as well. And the fourth thing I put is government. Okay, so, and I want you guys to be able to do the same thing. You don't necessarily have to write the same things that I'm writing down, but whatever is important to you when you think about COVID-19. Okay. All right. So after you do those things, now we're going to put out three important things that pertain to being quarantined. Right. So for me, I would say sometimes a little bit of anxiety about certain things. I would say another one is that it has affected my writing. I have not written as much as I usually do because it has been so many things going on. And the second bubble here, let me see, I could put wearing masks. That has been aggravating. Right? That's been aggravating. The third thing has been, as an educator, one of the things that has been a big deal is the fact that we've been, this pandemic has caused shutdowns, especially with schools, right? I know a lot of people can relate, right? If that's a big deal to you, and if you want to put it there, feel free to do so. Social injustice. The first thing that comes to my mind is let's say George, I forgot how to write today. George Floyd. I think about, for me, being a black man in America and how interesting that dynamic is. I think about that. I also think about Breonna Taylor, right? In terms of, and I also have a wife and two daughters. So just how I put, just say Black Lives Matter here. I put protests. There's been a lot of protests going on. Third person in the midst of the pandemic is Aubrey, right? We and under his name, I could put hate crime. I could put safety and your neighborhood, right? As a matter of fact, just safety being black. Just are you safe? Are we safe? Right. So those are important things that come to mind. And the beautiful thing I like about writing is the fact that you're not limited, and you don't have to feel stifled about what you write about, right? Because what you write is your feelings and emotions, how you feel about a particular topic, right? So let's scroll down a little bit. So here, as far as government, lack of leadership, right? In terms of how, a lot of this stuff has been handled. I think about politics, especially with elections around the corner, right? I could throw an election in here as well, right? And again, whatever it is that comes to mind, and maybe you don't have a government tab, and that's cool. So whatever it is that you have, let's just put it on there. I think about the media and how the media narrative, and how the government also plays a role in that. I also think about conspiracy. Right? I think about profit. People are becoming billionaires out here, and the government has a lot to do with that as well. I also think about propaganda, right? So I'm just throwing out words that come to mind. And now when I shift to family, I think about my Black wife, think about my Black son. I think about my Black daughters, and I'm specifically putting Black because that's a theme, right? That's it, like it is what it is. I'm also thinking about my Haitian people, even in the midst of everything that's going on, are still being deported. Which is just another topic in itself. And also think about my elderly parents, right? They're both over the age of 65, right? And I think about health, finances, right? So all of those things come to mind for me. Okay, now that I've been able to get my thoughts down. Hopefully you've been able to do this. Hopefully you have been able to do the same thing as well. Okay, so again, we started with here, just COVID-19, and we branched off to the four things that came to mind for me. The first four things, as far as quarantine, social injustice, family, and government, and I added at least three things that branch out of those. Right? You ready? Hopefully you got, if you need to put this on pause, get your thoughts together so that you can move right along with us. That's totally fine. Okay. So now that we have this, right, now that we have all these thoughts, all of these words, now we're going to just put them together. Okay. To create a rough draft. And when I mean rough draft, I mean rough, right? I know one of the things that a lot of writers do sometimes is that if you're a perfectionist, it's like sometimes you stop yourself from writing because you want to write the best poem that you've ever written. Don't do that. Just write. Okay, because when you do that, you stifle your creativity. You have to just get it on paper, and you can always go back and edit. That's why it's called a rough draft, because then you have a second, third, or fourth draft that will just polish and make your initial draft a lot better than what it is. Okay? And the thing is, like, about poetry is it doesn't have to rhyme. It just needs to be true. It needs to be from the heart. Right? Sometimes if you flow that way and it rhymes, cool. If it doesn't, cool, because you have so many different types of poems, right? You have free verse where it's just what it is. It's free verse, right? You just write out your thoughts, right? So enough of me talking, let's write. So I'm going to scroll down. And again, because this is a 4-part series, right? I'm just going to give you an idea of where we're going to go. I'm going to start out with a rough draft today. Then the following, we're going to add some sensory language to it. Then we'll go add some figure of speech, and then we amplify the poem with in particular tool where we use the macro aspect of writing, right? So let's start with the rough draft. All right. So for me, I will put I am going to write. Okay. All right. So I guess the first thing that comes to mind is Corona Chronicles. Corona Chronicles capture the crazy year of 2020. It's been a crazy year. I said from Kobe to COVID-19. But and health and racial pandemic. And notice that I'm using some of the words that I had up top, but people of color, people of color, seem to be dying faster. How about that? Little to no access to say justice and proper health care. Hey, who cares, right? And again, this is my poem. I could put whatever I want to put on it, right? And I can always go back and polish it up. People dress up as sheep, but are really wolves. Wolves salivating, with lion's teeth. Media fabricating numbers. Media fabricating numbers. What do you guys think? Fabricating COVID-19 numbers. Media fabricating COVID-19 numbers. What else can we add to that? Let's put in these United States of capitalism. In these United States of capitalism. Let's see, what else? Now, when I get stuck, I can always go back here. I always go back and look at my words. Let's go back and look at my words. Scroll back down. That's gonna put United States of capitalism. What do we know about the United States? Can we put about the United States? The land of the free. Well, that's not for everybody. I mean, land of the brave. It depends on who you are. I mean, the land of the slave. I mean, the land of the grave. Right. So I'm just writing what comes to mind as I think about the totality of everything that's going on in America. Right. I'm trying to ignore number 45, smoke and mirrors. Distractions and isms. And I love writing poetry because you can actually literally make up your own words sometimes. As poets, we do that. We have the license to make up our own words. Smoke and mirrors and isms. Focus on my black wife, because I did put that down, right? And black kids. What else did I put? I said before I go somewhere else, cover them spiritually, physically, and mentally. Very important. Family always first. Always, always, always family first. And again, I hope as I'm writing, you're also writing. Okay? Just that I'm doing this with you so that you can see that it's not as difficult as you think. But get in shape to stay in the race of racism. In shape, stay in the race of racism. And on beast mode with my faith in Christ. It's honestly, if you don't think beyond what's going on right now, you're literally gonna go crazy. And we are seeing that mental health is a huge issue nowadays. So finding something greater than yourself is extremely important to get through these difficult times. Get my finances right. We've seen that we can't depend on these jobs because they'll let you go in a minute. You got to use what you have to make it happen. My finances right. That's family unit airtight. And security measures on a lot. So these last days on us. These last days. All right, let's close it out. These last days are upon us. I got it, like a thief in the night. Boom. All right, let's stop right here for our rough draft. All right, so let's look at where we started and where we ended up. Right? So we started out again with our topic. We branched out to 4 different things. Out of those 4 different things, we added 3 specific elements that pertain to those 4 things, right? And we see that and it's okay if you don't use all of them, right? Because it's just a rough draft, maybe in the second draft, I may add some of the things that I didn't include. I definitely put, I'm being Black. I definitely included something about politics, like I like to call it. I spoke about health and finances. Okay. I spoke about my Black wife. I spoke about the media. So I included some of these things in my rough draft, right? So these are some of the things that I came up with. And then after that, if we look at my rough draft, let's say Corona Chronicles captured a crazy year of 2020, from Kobe to COVID-19, health and racial pandemic. People of color seem to be dying faster. Little to no access. I forgot to put no. See, y'all ain't even tell me that. Little to no access to justice and proper health care. Well, who cares? People dressed up as sheep, but are really wolves salivating with lions' teeth. Media fabricating COVID-19 numbers in these United States of capitalism. Land of the free. I mean, the land of the brave. I mean, the land of the slave. I mean, the land of the grave. See, I'm trying to ignore number 45, smoke and mirrors, distractions and isms. Focus on my Black wife and Black kids. Cover them spiritually, physically, mentally. Let me add one in there. Physically, mentally, and emotionally. Get in shape to stand the race of racism, and on beast mode with my faith in Christ. Get my finances right, family unit airtight, and security measures on lock. These last days are upon us like a thief in the night. Okay, so that's my rough draft. So hopefully, as this video is going, add some comments, like the video. If you want to post your rough draft in the chat, go ahead and do that. All right, because I want to read them. I want to see what you guys came up with. Right, and then after that, we'll see the evolution or the evolving of our writing as we go to session 2, because I'm going to take this exact same rough draft of a poem and polish it, right, so that we can see the transformation. Okay, so again, add some of your comments, and hopefully you join us on the next one so that we can take our rough drafts to the next level, right? So the next time we'll be adding sensory language to the rough draft, right? We'll be using our 5 senses to be able to just make the poem a bit more eclectic than what it is. Again, this is Berwick Augustin. You can check me out at berwickaugustin.com, and all my social media handles are on there. And thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you to the city of Miramar for having me and to allow us to be able to spend this time together to create beautiful poetry. So I'll see you guys next time. Take care. MCC live to you.